Welcome to episode 132 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary.
Recording number 2 of the day. Hey.
Yes.
I'd like to thank my Phoebe Bridgers tour shirt for totally getting me through.
Oh.
Can everybody see my Phoebe Bridgers?
Yes.
I wore this to my son's hockey game last Sunday, and my ex-husband was like, "Do you think that's appropriate?" I'm like, first of all,
what is wrong
ironic.
with it?
It's Phoebe Bridgers in her skeleton outfit, and she's basically a skeleton, and she's
but
screaming.
It's really
it looks
amazing.
I said
we all need to be screaming.
Yeah, I said, you know what? I said it's ironic. If you listen to her music, it's not like this at all. It's very fucking pleasant. And cutting and dark and death, and I love it. So I have been rewatching The Sopranos.
We're watching it right now too. Wait, what season are you on?
Oh, I'm just on one.
You're on one.
Yeah.
I'm on, I think I'm still in season 3.
Okay. I gotta tell you, you know what? It's a slow build, this show, and I forget all of the things that happen, and how different I feel now about these characters watching it at this age. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's different. The kids have always been super annoying.
Oh,
very
God,
annoying.
Meadow.
But it's just
such a brat.
Yes,
she's such a brat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it's incredible, and the relationship between Carmela and Tony is so fucking interesting.
And toxic and
yeah.
I have seen it so much that I know what they're gonna say before they say it.
On the last episode of the Muck Podcast, I said something in I'm like, I know you're gonna know where this is from because you know every fucking line from the show.
And my husband was there while I was watching. He's like, oh, I don't. I'm like, how do you not remember this? And I'm like, blah 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 blah. And he's like, You've watched this too much. And he watches Lord of the Rings on all of the time.
He does?
Every summer.
Oh my God!
Front, back, and bottom. And every time I'm like, oh look, there's Dumbledore, and he gets so annoyed. And he also gets annoyed because I'm like, oh, your Lord of the Rings is like my Sopranos. And he's like, stop calling it Sopranos. He's like, Sopranos. It's not like you're changing anything. It's the same amount of... And I'm like, I know, but Sopranos is because I love them.
Yeah. It's like Alfredi.
Yeah.
But I fucking love it. I love these characters. You know, Paulie Walnuts is like my fucking jam. This guy... And by the way, who I gotta tell you who I fucking hate. Who I fucking hate.
Tell me.
Christopher.
I
fucking hate him.
So Christopher is so spoiled in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's just young and he's such a jerk.
He's such a fucking jerk. Jackie
he's always
Aprile,
late. He's always late to everything.
Yeah, Jackie Aprile dies in cancer, right?
Oh, and he comes in the bar.
He's like, what are we doing about? And they're all doing this to him, calm the fuck down. He's like, no, I represent you out there. I'm like, oh my God, this fucking asshole. Just kill him. Or all I know is I can't wait for Tony to shoot him. I'm on episode 1 and I'm like, when is Tony gonna kill this motherfucker?
Yes, wow.
It's so fucking good.
Oh.
But Carmela's accent is so fucking beautiful. Her hair, her
the
nails,
necklace,
everything is so fucking good. It's so fucking good.
It's so good. And
I can't.
I gotta say, so we were having this discussion, and I feel like Carmela is, and I may have talked about this before, but I feel like she's one of the worst people.
Yes.
Out of all of them, because they know, Tony, he's a mobster, right?
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's just he's a shark. He sees his prey. He knows what he wants. He's calculated.
Scary. He's so
sociopath.
Scary.
But Carmela is like, oh, I believe in God.
Yeah.
And I'm this Catholic, but she'll take.
Yeah.
When she's conflicted. She's conflicted by it. But she will take. If he's going to bring home the jewelry, he's going to bring home the fur coats, she's like, she's into it.
Yeah. I saw a great fucking, I don't know where it popped up. It probably, they're tracking us basically.
Yes.
But on my Instagram feed, this t-shirt pops up for sale and it says Carmela Soprano. I'm gonna buy it for you, bitch. It says Carmela Soprano, and it's got different pictures of her, and one of them is when she's in that fur coat, and she's got it off her shoulders, and she's doing this, and I was like, oh, she's a badass bitch. She don't give a fuck.
She doesn't give a.
She doesn't. She tries to act like she does. It's society, throwing these functions, whatever. But
but Meadow is she's a little snarky.
Yeah.
Well, so what episode are you up to?
I'm on the one where, let's see, they just went to the colleges, and
Yes.
he sees the guy who's
College
a rat.
tour, yeah.
And you know what he knows he's a rat because he sees this Ronald Reagan.
It's the drawing.
Yeah,
the sculpture.
It's a sculpture. But like, why is that? Like, they don't really reference like how he knew.
It's
that
because
was
of
him.
the way he messes up the noses all the time, and so when he saw the sculpture, like the way like the nose was done.
Okay.
Because there was like some slight joke like earlier on in the episode about like how he's like. Yeah. He you know.
But he's having dreams, and so that was the thing with me in The Sopranos. As soon as Tony went into Dream World, I was like, I'm out. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about, but I know that fucking podcast talks about it, right? The Talking Sopranos, about the different dreams and what they meant, and and so I'm like, all right, when the dreams thing happens, I might have to go listen to Talking Sopranos and see what's going on. But here's what I wanted to say to you. I know you do, but here's what I want to say to you. I know that like Sopranos is your end all be all, but like that's how I feel about The Wire.
I have to watch The Wire.
Please do.
Okay, I will do it.
You don't have to do it now. You don't have to do it. Whatever.
It's summertime. It's a good
time.
But
I'm asking you to watch The Wire because
that guy is so hot.
Yeah, Dominic.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very hot. And he's very hot in this. He fucks all the time, and it's like, he's he's a mess, which is my jam.
Yeah.
Give me a good white boy with some problems, and I'm here for you, honey.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine. He sent me a message, and he was like, "Well, you're a hell of a comfort for us confused boys." And I was like, "Yeah, that's basically my jam. Is like, if you've got an issue, it's like a moth to a flame, honey. That's my god." What was I gonna? Oh, anyway, please watch it. I would love to. I mean, I've rewatched that several times, and I know every scene like you do, but it's just the same sort of like cruise, like the crew mentality, the fucking violence. It's all of that too. Yeah. Anyway, I'm very much enjoying it, and I'm like looking forward to this being done today, so I can go sit on my fat ass or my big ass. I gotta stop doing that. Why do I keep doing that to myself?
You gotta stop.
I have to stop, and I catch myself now. I used to be like self-deprecating. This is funny. My fat ass. But you know what? It's not fucking beautiful. It's not. And thank you. Number one. Number two. Like, here's what I like to say. It's a work in progress. Like, we are working on this. We're doing our best. We are healthy. We're exercising. I mean, my problem is I float, and I'm like, where's my candy? Like, I have to keep candy out of my house. That's my issue lately. It's like I can't float as much as I'd like to because I immediately like, what can I go eat? That's not good.
No.
That's the problem. Munchies is a real thing. Lauren Book.
Oh my god.
So Lauren Book will be on the podcast this Friday, July 15th. It was an incredible conversation.
Amazing.
We did it through Zoom. We wanted to have her here. We weren't able to do it, so we had her on Zoom, which was great because we're all trying to make sure our kids don't run into the room at the same time. We're all like trying to get through this. But she had a brilliant idea. Because she knows how hopeless and sad we feel about the state. And she's like, you know what, ladies? You know what I'd like you to do? When session happens, I want you to come up to Tallahassee. I'm going to take you to the committee hearings, and you're going to sit through everything, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to record a podcast in Tallahassee, and we can have different people come in, and I lost my fucking mind.
The idea of this is so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it in like as soon as they announce dates or whatever, so I can put it in to get the days off.
Like, we're going to go into the belly of the beast. The belly of the beast.
Yes.
And I was actually at dinner last night, and I said, who I really want to see, here, I want to see him here, but I'd really like to see him in Tallahassee too, is Chip LaMarca. Like, I've been dying to run into Chip LaMarca. He's been all over the place going to events down here, and like, he just tweets these pictures. He's like just fucking shaking hands and kissing babies, and I'm just like, I want to run into him so bad and knock him off his pedestal, like, with words, so badly. I just want to remind him who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
And here's what I also would like to
do.
I'd also like to start buying like plastic baby dolls and covering them in red paint and just leaving him on his office doorstep. Can we do that? Every day put a plastic baby with red paint all over it and put it on his door. God. He voted against he voted for the 15-week abortion ban. He did. He's part of the problem in Florida.
He is a huge problem, and he should not be able to sit in Broward.
Nope.
Of all places.
So let's just start doing that.
Go move to whatever county.
Yeah.
If you want to be, a Republican.
Or let's get white nightgowns and put blood on them, like put blood all over us and stand in front of his office. Because you're going to be responsible for women and but you put women in danger.
Yeah.
How about that?
Women, we don't deserve this.
Nope. I mean, I when I was editing our abortion
and really,
episodes
we don't need to be paying. Why are we paying taxes? Like, every woman should stop paying taxes. We are not being represented.
I hear that.
Our rights are violated. And if I hear or see one more thing from these, and I hate the pro-life versus pro-choice, because pro-choice doesn't mean that you're not for life. You know what I mean? Like, I hate this, like, divide or, like, this distinction between the two. But it's just, I lost my train of thought. But
women and paying taxes.
Yes, we should not be paying taxes. We're not represented.
No.
We're not represented. I mean, our rights have been stripped away from us. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And these other, like, pro-life women who were like, oh, Roe, Roe being overturned isn't as horrible as you are all saying. It just puts everything back into the state's hands. So if you don't if your state doesn't have the abortion, rules, laws that you like, just move to another state, because it's so easy.
Yeah.
To pick up and move to another state.
You know who else loved states' rights? Slave owners.
Oh my God.
Slave owners, because they knew they could pay off the fucking legislators, state legislators, and get what they want. And the only way the state legislators knew they could get elected was to be for slavery. And down here in Florida, the only way you're being elected as Republican is if you're pro-fucking life. And so that's who you want me. You want me to put my fucking rights and my daughter's rights in the hands of Chip LaMarca?
I mean,
is that what you want me to do? In his Vienna sausage finger hands? That's what you want me to do?
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
No.
And after the primary, I'm going to start taking fucking notes of who's not supporting Linda Thompson Gonzalez. That's what I'm going to fucking do. And I'm going to start tweeting and reading their names every fucking day.
Every Democrat needs to be behind her. And full stop. There's no reason to support Chip LaMarca, because if you support Chip LaMarca, then you're not supporting women.
That's right.
In your district.
And if you're not supporting women, you're not supporting anybody else.
Right.
Because our right to privacy was taken away. And if you're an elected LGBTQ member, Dean Trentalis, then you're not supporting women. You're also not supporting your own community. So, I don't know. Be really great if the largest city in Chip LaMarca's district, city of Fort Lauderdale,
didn't support him.
Elected mayor, would actually come out for a Democrat in the party he's supposed to belong to.
But it's everything. We need an overhaul of our entire political system. We have to get rid of the lobbying. We have to have term limits. We need to term limit SCOTUS. Like, there's so many things that we could be doing, and we're so tied to not changing this Constitution that things evolve and change. I don't understand. Like, every other country in the world evolves and changes, and we have to be trapped in,
I was thinking when Roe was overturned, I'm still clearly I'm like mentally ill. I'm off because of it. Like, it completely stripped away everything where I was just like raw, and now everything started coming up, and like I'm just so fucking angry and sad, like on the surface. Like, we go to events, and I'm just like, hi, is everybody doing? You just put on this face, and now I'm just like, I don't even want to fucking go here. Yeah. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything.
And the thing too with abortion is, and a lot of people are talking about it, that it's not just some young girl getting pregnant, right, and not wanting a baby. There are so many different types of women and different reasons why women get abortions, and because you are using this as a political football, you're putting so many people's lives at risk. They don't care.
No,
they don't care.
What the problem?
And even IVF is at risk for women who cannot conceive, because of this whole idea of like life at conception and this, that, and the other. Like, that they can't. They like, now there's you want to talk about like, oh, people should be able to like do what they want in their life. But now women who really desperately want a baby or want to have IVF may not be able to do IVF because of these rules.
But Tina,
there's all of these things that are connected that they're not thinking about.
If you can't get pregnant, that's God's will. IVF is not something you should be doing. Got it? Get it? That's it.
Yeah.
But here's what I was going to say at the beginning of this, and what I was referencing from our abortion episode 130, is the fact at the end when I was like, I don't understand how women can be disregarded. The fact that you're fighting for a life that's inside of a person who's already alive is where I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Where's the respect for the life that already exists? Where's the respect for the trauma that the person that already exists is going through? Where is that respect? It's not just a womb with legs. This is a human being whose mother chose to have them, right? Like, this is something that you're not understanding, that this is a life that already exists. What about that person? Why is it just about the fetus? It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, a fetus is not a baby.
A fetus is not a baby.
Sorry. Just reminder. Yeah. Reminder.
And the times that when you stop out speaking out, we all know who you are. I kept very close tabs on who the fuck was going to start responding and who put shit up, and I saw a lot of people, a lot of my personal friends, not say anything about this, and it's shocking.
You know, it's shocking to say too that there are people that, just not in the political world, just like regular people in my life, women in my life, that are just like posting their regular everyday stuff, and I feel like every single damn woman I know should have say something, and like maybe that's, what do you call it, like the armchair activism, whatever. It's one thing that you could do, so that if every single woman would be posting their outrage at this, and then everyone in their lives are seeing that, right? But you don't want to piss people off,
right?
And your lack of wanting to piss people off, like, your rights are gone.
Yeah, I love seeing people. I love seeing pictures of your kids. I love seeing pictures of you traveling. That's great. Maybe you don't want to use social media in that way. Maybe you don't want to get involved. But at what cost? At what point?
Right.
At what point do you take a stand
screaming
and say this? Because people like Tina and I are so few and far between at this point, and that doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I said, when I said I'm going to step out and be like, I'm done, it's from a very, very big place of privilege. Believe me, if I needed an abortion or somebody else I know, I could get it. I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm stepping out as someone who's like, I can do that. But I've already been fighting for this. I feel like I've been fighting for Roe my entire fucking life. I feel like I've had to defend abortion since I was a teenager. Like, I've always had to say, no, this is a good thing. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard for everybody else to do that. It's not a difficult fucking thing to do. And we're here now because your lack of fucking talking, your lack of support, your lack of outwardly saying, I won't vote for somebody like this, or I won't support somebody like this. That's why the LGBTQ community is so strong. Because they all started coming out of the closet and they're like, fuck you, these are my, I'm demanding rights. Women aren't doing that, or anyone else who should be supporting us.
Any men too.
Yes, anybody else who should be supporting us.
Everyone should have show their outrage.
Yeah. And because
you're
not, like, they think they can get away with murder.
Within the first couple days of that being overturned, and I was still seeing like people with their like happy life pictures. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, not trying to be judgy, but I'm being a little judgy.
Fuck that. We're gonna be judgy. We're gonna be fucking. What the fuck?
I know, because it's only gonna get worse.
Did you see the fucking story about the woman with ectopic pregnancy?
Yeah.
And the fucking doctor had, because the law already went into place in the state where she's at, because of the fucking rules.
That's fake news, though, to the right.
And she went, the doctor had to be on the phone with a lawyer, and she almost died. She was sitting there for like 12 hours to figure out if the doctor could actually do this without losing his license. Like, what the fuck?
What are we doing?
That's where we are.
And that's where we are. An ectopic pregnancy, there is no way for that embryo to survive because it's in the fallopian tube. Right, so, like, why don't you learn some science?
That's what we need to do.
There's no way for that to... There's no viability.
That's what we need to do.
There's no viability. And for you to think, like, it's not, like... And, like, thank God for science, that because when women would die of that, it's because there was no science. Like, I don't understand this attack on science. And the one thing I really don't get is when there's, like, science is like people who actually like that. Who's that nut job running in, who lives in Jersey but running in Pennsylvania? The Dr. Oz, who has like a medical degree.
Oh please!
He went to med school. Like these, and who's the other? The other guy? Is it Carson? Ben Carson, who's the brain surgeon.
Oh right.
Like these people like went to medical school.
Honey.
Like I would not be able to get past the first chemistry class, and yet somehow I feel like I know more science than they do.
Listen, everybody needs to take a fucking class on how the uterus works.
Yes! Here's the
every
pictures.
lawmaker. How about Anna Eskamani? When she Rep Anna Eskamani's on the podcast, going, "Do you know how many times I've had to explain how a period works, or what with the weeks and the timing and all that?" Like, she had to her fellow lawmakers who are making laws about women's bodies and don't know how it works.
Right.
You idiots.
These are the same people though who say like that if it wasn't rape, or if it was rape and you get pregnant, it's because. What was that crazy guy?
You're not. You can get rid of the fucking ejaculate.
Yeah. Like it's like
your body can reject it.
Your body knows if it's a rape. And it's how insane are you?
I don't know. What if
how insane are you? Where in the Bible does it say that?
What if you like rough sex?
I mean,
does your body not know what's going on?
And the other great thing is in the Bible there is abortion.
Of course.
And there's a lot of sacrifices. Like it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Listen,
all right,
we gotta go. But also, like, just why don't you do me a favor? Go get fucked. How about that? Hard.
Woo!
Your brain is fucking backwards, motherfucker. It is backwards.
It is.
And it's so fucked up because here's the thing, like, and this is what my ex-husband always used to say. You know, it's all about procreation, and that's why God made it feel so good. It feels good because He wants you to make babies.
Why can't it just feel good?
And I was like, well, I can't argue with that, but also, can you put a condom on, please? Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, my God. All right.
Like, but you know what, though? It does feel good, though, Tina.
I mean... So, why can't it just feel good for the sake of feeling good?
And that's the worst part, is we're trying to defend ourselves having sex. Like... to enjoy it and have pleasure.
But this is the thing. It's everything is always on the backs of women. The birth control, like everything.
And when I see these women, like that woman I mentioned in the last episode, where she's like, "I don't trust women to not let men ejaculate inside of them," and I thought to myself, this woman has not been fucked properly.
No.
And it's probably the crudest, awful, the worst thing I've ever said. But like, if you get fucked properly, but if you get, you're right. I have said a lot.
Oh my God.
But if you get fucked properly, you would not be fighting like this.
No.
Like, I'm so sorry you don't have orgasms. I'm sorry about your lack of orgasms. I'm really sorry.
I mean, but maybe just explore yourself. Maybe she needs to explore herself.
Yeah, honey, go get a vibrator. Figure out how that clit works. And then show your man, who obviously can't find it.
Please, he would probably be so offended.
Oh my God.
Oh, this poor woman.
I mean, her poor vagina.
Maybe there should be an organization to like bring Republican women over that's like,
honey, yes,
we'll teach you how to like love yourself, love your body.
Do you know how many women are walking around who've never had an orgasm?
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
That will make them realize how wrong everything is. Like maybe that's the eye-opener, that's the epiphany they need.
Maybe.
The orgasm is the epiphany they need.
I really think it is about keeping women from having pleasure. I mean, it's
that
God's will, but also like women can't be sexual. It scares them to death. It scares them to death.
Women are still trapped.
Yeah. Listen, we're like a hop, skip, and a jump from them cutting our clits off.
Oh my God. That's from The Handmaid's Tale.
Is that the worst thing I've said on the podcast?
Yeah, that's from The Handmaid's Tale.
Is it? Oh God.
Well, from the show.
Oh God, I've never seen it. See, this is what I mean. I'd be fucking traumatized watching that.
It's traumatic. It's traumatic. It's traumatic what happens to this one.
I can't do it. I can't watch it.
It's like her punishment.
Yeah.
It's awful.
We're in a very bad place. And it's stuff that we used to speculate, like, this would never happen. I don't know. Maybe this could happen. We're here. We're fucking here now.
And it's like, what? I
don't know. I don't know.
It's.
Anyway, let's get started. You're first, yeah?
Yeah. All right.
Here we go.
We're going to shift gears to just a ridiculous story.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story of former New Jersey Senator James Turner. So James Turner began his political career as a county commissioner before moving into a New Jersey House and then Senate member in 1972. But when he sets out to destroy a political rival, he destroys his career instead.
Oh my God. I'm getting Jennifer, what's her name?
Kathleen Kane.
Yes.
Yeah. So our story takes place in New Jersey, specifically in Gloucester. Am I saying that right?
Sounds like it. Who cares? Okay. It's New Jersey. Who cares?
Jersey. All right, so today is a little short and sweet, but I just found this incident interesting, and it just, I don't know, it just made me it actually reminded me too of that nut job who put the political ad out, that Eric Greitens, who put that political ad about we're hunting rhinos.
Oh, yeah,
that incredibly violent.
Yes.
And he's like, it's irony. It's like, no, that's not what irony is, first of all. By the way, it's violence.
Yeah. I was going to say, I read this whole news story about a political guy, and I was like, oh, I sent it to myself, and then I started reading the article about him, and I go, this is familiar. I've covered him on the podcast. And he's already in trouble again, and I was like,
oh my god,
this guy.
We should do like one time just like an updates episode,
because
I would love when Matt Gaetz finds his way in jail to do a great update on him.
For sure.
So James Turner. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, he began his career as a commissioner for the Gloucester County Board of Chosen Freeholders, which essentially just means like the county board.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called the of Chosen Freeholders. It's probably some old school name, but he also worked as a private investigator for 20 years.
Ooh.
And then in 1969, he's elected to the General Assembly, which is a state house seat. And when he then gets a senator position, and he had a bill that appropriated $25,000 to have police dogs sniff out pot. That was like one of his big bills.
Oh my god.
All right, so Turner wins the Senate election, but for whatever reason, instead of, just doing his job and being a grown-up, he decides to embark on this like Machiavellian scheme to take down what, according to the New York Times prosecutors, the New York Times article said the prosecutors described as, quote, his arch political rival. So this guy, Kenneth Gurwitz. So let me talk about Gurwitz a little bit. Gurwitz served on the same General Assembly as Turner, but he was mayor. And he kind of pissed people off. He wore like these loud suits. He drove an orange Corvette at one point. And when Republicans refused to debate, because he was a Democrat, he hired a helicopter to fly over their annual picnic, and it screwed things up on the ground because it's just hovering low, and they're at the picnic and everything's flying.
It's hard to keep those tablecloths down. It's hard to keep those down anyway.
Oh my god!
I got a helicopter blowing shit around.
I mean, but what a jerk!
There goes the fucking.
You don't want to debate me. Yeah, you don't want to debate me. Okay, here comes the helicopter. So he liked like the attention from the press for these antics. So like, so he's just like this rabble. Yeah. So aside from that, I really couldn't find like a direct connection between Turner and Gurwitz, but they were still called these rivals.
Okay.
So how does one take down a political rival who hasn't committed any crimes?
Yeah.
Well, you set him up to take the fall for a major felony. That's what you do.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
This is so stupid, this whole story. So allegedly, Turner got a few co-conspirators to plant a shit ton of drugs in Gurwitz's home.
Hot.
Like, can you imagine this?
Oh, my God.
So the co-conspirators were this guy, Richard McDowell, Richard McDowell's son, who was also called Richard McDowell, Charles Lentine, and Carl Yellen. And the co-conspirators, like this guy Lentine, had property and weapon charges against them, and Turner was going to help fix those charges. So he's like, you help me with this, I'll get those charges wiped. Stupid. Right?
So dumb.
And he would not only get $10,000 for doing that, but he'd also take out Gurwitz by making him look guilty with the drugs. So he's like, okay, you guys pay me, you do this thing with Gurwitz, and like all your shit goes away, and this guy goes away too.
Wow.
So the New York Times reported at the time that they put drugs in Gurwitz's garage and car, and one of the conspirators, Carl Yellen, planted 6,500 amphetamine pills at his house.
Oh my god,
that's a lot of fucking pills. Amphetamines too. It's like so like like 1970s. Like it's oh my god. So what happened was Richard McDowell heard that they might get busted. So he goes to the cops.
Oh my god.
And he tells them what's going on.
Dang it.
Yes. And it's so funny. And Gurwitz said that the plot against him was, quote, worse than the Watergate conspiracy involving the attempted bugging of Democratic National Headquarters in Washington. Because he's so dramatic.
Yeah, calm down.
Sorry, dude, you're the mayor of this town. Like, it's really... One official said that, quote, it's one thing to spy on someone and even smear an opponent in an election campaign, but trying to frame someone by planting narcotics in their home, that's something else. Like, it's insane. Like,
Yeah.
Like, who even thinks, like, okay, we're going to just put a bunch of drugs. And then I guess what he was doing, because he knew cops, because he was his PI for years.
Oh, right.
So he's like, hey, go to their house, go. You got to go check the garage. And the cops were like, this is, like, why do you want us to go there? Like,
oh my God,
it didn't make sense. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. So according to the New York Times, Turner spent nearly a year trying to set Gurwitz up to be charged and arrested for, quote, receiving stolen property and unlawfully manufacturing, possessing, distributing, and selling narcotic drugs and controlled dangerous substances. The New York Times reported that an officer, this is that cop, Mr. Cohen, testified that Turner pushed him to raid Gurwitz's house, which he found suspicious. He stated that Turner, quote, implored me. He beseeched me. He was practically screaming. He shouted, raid the house, raid the house.
Oh my God.
At that point, he practically ordered me to raid the house. I told him I'd be especially in trouble if we raided the place and came up dry. Turner, said, don't worry, you won't come up dry. Dang. There are narcotics in there.
Jesus.
So basically, like, no, I'm telling you, there's going to be stuff. Like, it's so...
idiot.
What an idiot. So the charges were conspiracy, bribery, and providing false information. He turns himself into the police. He's released on a $10,000 bond. And... the thing I found interesting was his co-conspirator, Lentine, pled guilty. But during Turner's trial, they could not talk about Lentine's guilty plea because that could sway the jury. So, like, they couldn't include any of that information. It's always interesting to me, like, how trials work and what can be let in, what can be let out. And to me, like, that's a major piece of information.
Yeah.
But I guess...
it would influence the jury.
Yeah. So he was found guilty of conspiracy, bribery, and giving false info.
Nice.
The trial also revealed that one option on the table was to shoot Gurwitz.
Oh my God.
But Turner didn't want to go that far.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, why does he hate him so much? I couldn't figure out, like, what it was, really. So he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Afterwards, he was barred from serving in the legislature. He couldn't run for re-election. He couldn't hold any other state office. But... because he was a tool, Turner said that he would not be dropping out of the Senate race and noted, quote, I intend to win and I expect the Senate to seat me.
Wow.
But then, after the appeal and all of that, they tried to remove Turner from the Republican primary candidate.
Oh, wow.
And that failed. And because there's nothing like the American voter, he won the primary. Because, I mean...
there's nothing like the American voter.
It's ridiculous. And
well, you know what?
Thankfully, he lost the election.
What, though? That's what it always comes down to. The American voter.
It is.
It's just incredible.
Because, like, all these people are fools, but at the end of the day, someone's got to vote them in.
It's incredible.
Someone's got to vote them in.
Yeah. Damn.
So it's indicted again for bribery while on appeal for the original case, because remember, with those co-conspirators, he's trying to arrange paroles. So it's like he had the one thing of, like, with the narcotics, but he's also, like, trying to get them out. So, like, he doesn't get elected or anything.
Wow.
So some points of interest. He had strong ties, like I said, to law enforcement, because not only was he that private investigator, but he was, like, this expert on firearms. Mm-hmm. He had this, like, really great expertise, which I think gave him, like, the balls to, like, try to go against this Gurwitz guy. And apparently he would sit in session with a revolver and even showed folks a belt buckle that held a knife, according to the New York Times. So, like he's just this aggressive, I don't know. And the other thing is, like, even though they were labeled as these political rivals, like, I was trying to dig in and find out, like, what is this all about? They never ran against each other.
Oh.
So one New York Times article noted that they may one day would have to run against each other for a congressional seat.
Okay.
But, like, that was really it, like, because, like, their seats were different. Like,
so weird.
Yeah, I mean, unless, like, they were on that board and he just, like, they're combative, like, on issues on the board, you know?
Yeah.
In his Senate race before all of this nonsense, he won by 11 votes. The Dem he ran against, Dominger, asked for a recount. Turner won, and then the race is what prompted the county to move to computerized voting rather than paper ballots. So, like, that was, like, one of the earlier moves to, like, this other thing, and that's really it. That's the story of this nut job, James Turner. I mean, like, so what? You hate this guy, you're on the board together, and you may down the road run against him in a congressional seat, insane. So you're going to, like, try to get him sent to prison for drugs.
It's ridiculous.
It's wild.
It's just like super competitive.
Yes, but it's so weird. Like, and that's
weird.
so extreme. It's so extreme.
I mean,
but I saw that. I was like, okay, this will be a fun little lighthearted.
I love it. Mine's kind of lighthearted too.
Oh, we need this.
We need it.
We need it.
So I'm gonna cover former first daughter of the president, Alice Roosevelt Longworth.
Oh,
she's wild and fun, and I just loved every second of it. So no major like scandal, but just like this fun girl who like didn't give a fuck.
Oh, good. I love presidential kids.
Yes.
I mean, the Secret Service, I must be like, God, I got to follow this one around all day.
By the way, you know how the president always gets like a code name? Did you hear during the hearings that did you hear what his code name is?
Oh, wait, I think I did, but remind me.
Mogul. They said, like, they were playing recordings. It was like Mogul's in the car, Mogul's in the Beast, which is his big fucking car. Mogul's in the Beast, and I was like, Mogul?
He's bankrupt.
He is. He's
bankrupt.
He's a fucking thief, basically.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
I didn't hear that.
That's funny.
I thought it was going to actually be like something really about his personality. Instead, it's about a lie about how much money he thinks he has.
Yeah, which is his personality, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so Alice Lee Roosevelt was born on February 12th, 1884, in the Roosevelt home at 6 West 57th Street in Manhattan. Her mother, Alice Hathaway Lee Roosevelt, was a Boston banking heiress. Her father, Theodore, was then a New York State assemblyman. And as an Oyster Bay Roosevelt, Alice was a descendant of the Schuyler family.
Oh, Schuyler! Wait, let's do the song. The Schuyler sisters.
I'm out. I had to take the fucking Hamilton soundtrack off my phone because it was always coming up. I'm like, not again. Not again.
God.
But yes, that family, that one.
Oh my god.
Eliza.
Yes.
And Peggy.
Yeah.
So 2 days after her birth in the same house, her mother died of undiagnosed kidney failure.
Oh, goodness.
Awful. So 11 hours earlier that day, Theodore's mother, Martha Stewart Bullock, had also died of typhoid fever.
Jesus, like,
so
things
this is a
were
bad couple of days.
Things were bad.
It's a bad couple of days there for the Roosevelts. Theodore was rendered so distraught by his wife's death that he could not bear to think about her.
Aww.
He almost never spoke her name again and would not allow her name to be mentioned in his presence, and even omitted her name from his autobiography.
What?
But of course, it's his daughter's name as well, right? Like, her name's Alice.
Oh my god.
Which, by the way,
it's like, I have like goosebumps from this.
So therefore, his daughter Alice was called Baby Lee instead of by her first name. She continued this practice late in life, often preferring to be called Mrs. L, which is her married name was Longworth, rather than Alice. Seeking solace, Theodore retreated from his life in New York and headed west, where he spent 2 years traveling and living on his ranch in North Dakota. He left his infant daughter in the care of his sister Anna, known as Bammy or Bai. They, all these rich folks have these fun names.
They all have these fun names.
Yeah.
Why was I not born into a rich family?
I know.
But then they're all...
Did you have nicknames as a kid?
No.
My sister and brother, because my sister couldn't say Hillary, so she called me Riri.
Oh,
and so that's what my brother and sister always called me, Riri.
I love
And sometimes they still do, and I go...
That's so cute.
And one of my sister's friends, Kim, who I always see at Pride, I always hear, Riri! Riri! And I go,
I love that.
Kim, that's so fucking funny.
That's the cutest thing.
It's very cute. And my son couldn't say my daughter's name, so he called her Mimi, which was so fucking cute also.
That's so cute. Oh,
I miss them as babies.
I do too.
Fuck.
But they're both like, my children I feel like are just always attached to me, and they're 11 and 13.
Yeah, my son just got a phone for the first time, and he calls me 5 times a day to tell me he loves me and misses me when he's not here. And I'm like, oh god. It's a good thing, but it's also like fucking heartbreaking, you know?
Yeah.
So letters to Bammy reveal Theodore's concern for his daughter. In one 1884 letter, he wrote, quote, "I hope Mousiekins will be very cunning. I shall dearly love her," end quote. But don't you already dearly love her? Like, why don't you get home and take care of that baby bitch?
On the ranch.
Hello. We're all heartbroken, but your daughters also need you to help raise her.
She's another mom.
Yeah. Bammy had a significant influence on young Alice, who would later speak of her admiringly. She said, quote, "If Auntie Bai had been a man, she would have been president." End quote.
Ooh.
Bammy took her under her watchful care, moving Alice into her book-filled Manhattan house until Theodore married again. And he married Edith Kermit Carew, who Alice was. So then Alice went and lived with them. Now that there's a woman to take care of the baby.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and through this marriage, Alice had 5 siblings: Theodore III,
Jesus,
Kermit, Ethel, Archie, and Quentin.
Wow.
So she was the only child of the first marriage.
Yeah.
Theodore remained married to Edith until his death in 1919. And there were tensions between young Alice and her stepmother, Edith, who had known her husband's previous wife and made it clear that she regarded her predecessor as a beautiful but insipid childlike fool.
Wow, the woman is
fun.
dead.
That's always fun.
The woman is dead. You got what you wanted. You have 5 kids. Like, come on.
Edith once angrily told her that if Alice Hathaway Lee had lived, the mother, she would have bored Theodore to death.
Wow.
Talk about evil stepmother.
Yes.
Continuing tension with her stepmother and prolonged separation and limited attention from her father created a young woman who was independent, outgoing, and self-confident. Right? Like, I don't need this bullshit. When her father was governor of New York, he and his wife proposed that Alice attend a conservative school for girls in New York City. In response, Alice wrote, quote, "If you send me, I will humiliate you.
Oh.
I will do something that will shame you. I tell you, I will."
Oh, yes.
In later years, she's like, "No, I don't
You're
think
not
so,
sending
bitch.
me away.
Yeah, I know what the score is.
Yeah.
I know you need me to be very well behaved, and so I know exactly what I need to do to get out of this shit."
Yes.
But in later years, Alice expressed admiration for her stepmother's sense of humor and stated that they had shared similar literary tastes. So apparently, they found some common ground eventually.
I mean,
yeah. Following the 1901 assassination of President William McKinley in Buffalo, her father, who at the time was vice president, took office, an event that she greeted with, quote, "sheer rapture," end quote. Alice became a celebrity and fashion icon at age 17. And at her social debut in 1902, she wore a gown of what became known as Alice Blue, sparking a color trend in women's clothing and a popular song called Alice Blue Gown.
What?
End quote. That's the name of the song, Alice Blue Gown. I mean, really, it's right on the nose what this fucking song is about.
No subtlety there.
Yeah. So now she's 17. She's in the fucking White House. She's stunning. Like, you know how sometimes you see these old-timey pictures or like paintings and you're like, what the fuck? This woman was gorgeous. Like, this beautiful fucking face, you know, with those cut cheeks and stunning. Alice was the center of attention in the social context of her father's presidency, and she thrived on the attention, but she was annoyed by some of the restrictions that the attention places on her, of course. And in this, Alice resembled her father, because he also liked to have all the attention, but he didn't like the criticisms, I guess, right? She later said of her dad, quote, I love this quote so much, "He wants to be the bride at every wedding, the corpse at every funeral, and the baby at every christening," end quote. That's a fucking quote about her dad.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Center of attention.
Yeah, loves it. He loves it.
Center of attention much?
And by the way, a great trait if you want to be president of the United States.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about how if you want to be president, you have to be really a huge ego. You have to. Like, you can rule the country.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's wild.
Who thinks that about themselves?
Not me.
You know what I mean? So, no, me neither. That sounds scary and insane to me. Her outspokenness and antics won the hearts of the American people, who nicknamed her Princess Alice.
Oh.
Alice was known as a rule breaker in an era when most women conformed with social norms. The Journal des Débats in Paris noted that in 15 months, Alice Roosevelt had attended 407 dinners, 350 balls, and 300 parties.
Jesus. Can I have this life?
Yeah, she doesn't turn down an invitation to anything. One paper alleged that she had scandalously stripped down to her lingerie at a drunken orgy held at a Newport, Rhode Island mansion.
Hi!
Danced atop a table, a story that proved to be false, but
wow.
Yeah.
So she's just a little bit wild, and they're gonna just take it. They're gonna be hyperbolic about it and make it so much more than what it is.
Exactly. She smoked cigarettes in public, rode in cars with men, stayed out late partying, kept a pet snake named Emily.
What?
Named Emily Spinach. Emily after her spinster aunt, and spinach for its green color. She kept it in the White House and was seen placing bets with a bookie. time she fucking walked around the White House with a snake. Oh,
I love this girl.
I know. On May 11th, 1908, Alice amused herself in the Capitol's gallery at the House of Representatives by placing a tack on the chair of an unknown but middle-aged and dignified gentleman. Upon encountering the tack with his bum, it, quote, like the burst of a bubble on the fountain, like the bolt from the blue, like the ball from the cannon, the unfortunate fellow leapt up in pain and surprise while she looked away. She's crazy.
Wow.
I'd love to put a tack on like Ted Cruz's chair.
Oh. My God.
Once a White House visitor commented on Alice's frequent interruptions in the Oval Office, often to offer political advice.
Oh, good. Get in there. Get your opinion in there.
She was like Ivanka Trump before Ivanka Trump.
Please.
The exhausted president commented to his friend, author Owen Wister, after she interrupted their conversation for the third time, and he threatened to throw her out the window. And he said, quote, this is a great quote too from her dad, quote, I can either run the country or I can attend to Alice, but I cannot possibly do both.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's a handful.
She's a fucking handful. But could you imagine like 19, open the door and be like, here's my advice,
Yes.
Dad.
Oh my God. We should all be a handful like Alice.
No. Open the fucking door to the
all
Oval
be
Office.
a
Yeah,
handful.
bang on that fucking door.
Woo!
It's a compliment to me.
Yes.
Yeah. In 1905, Alice, along with her father, Secretary of War William Howard Taft, led the American delegation to Japan, Hawaii, China, the Philippines, and Korea. It was the largest such diplomatic mission thus far, composed of 23 congressmen, including her future husband, Nicholas Longworth, 7 senators, diplomats, officials, and businessmen. During the cruise to Japan, Alice jumped into the ship's swimming pool, fully clothed, and coaxed Congressman William Bork Cochran to join her in the water. Putting a romantic spin on the story, newspapers reported that it was Longworth, who she would eventually marry.
Oh.
Years later, Bobby Kennedy would kid her about the incident, saying it was outrageous for the time, to which the by then octogenarian Alice replied that it would only have been outrageous if she had removed her clothes.
Ooh.
Hey, spicy.
I like this girl.
I know. In December 1905, after returning to Washington from their diplomatic travels, Alice became engaged to Nicholas Longworth III,
Ooh.
a Republican U.S. House of Representatives member from Cincinnati, Ohio, who ultimately would rise to become Speaker of the House. The two had traveled in the same social circles for several years, but their relationship solidified during that trip.
Yeah.
An heir of socially prominent Ohio family, Longworth was 14 years her senior and had a reputation as a Washington, D.C. playboy. By the way,
so they're both kind of little party animals.
yeah, but his picture, honey.
He's
no.
not cute.
No.
Girl,
No.
what are you doing?
I don't know. She was so...
Get somebody hot.
She was 21 when they married. He was 35, which doesn't seem so bad right now.
No, it's
but
not that bad.
he's
but
like, nah, I don't know. Just
get yourself a young hottie.
I just thought to myself, if this is a Playboy in 1905, we got real problems with what the Playboy is. Playboy
it's the money. It's the money that makes him the Playboy.
Yeah, but the Playboy to me right now is that fucking hot Ryan Gosling dressed as Ken from the Barbie
Oh
movie.
my God.
Have you seen these pictures of this motherfucker?
I think I saw one on one of your stories.
I mean, I used to want to fuck Ken when I was a kid. I'd
What?
do the Barbie Ken fucking.
Oh yeah, I
their
think we
little
all
plastic
did that.
bits.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, hi Ken. Ryan Gosling is got to be the hottest motherfucker on the planet.
He is cute.
He's so fucking cute.
He's funny.
He is funny.
Yeah. Hi.
I bet I can make you laugh, Ryan.
Woo! Well, come on the show, Ryan.
Hi.
Ooh.
I'll be your Barbie. Oh, let's move on. Sorry, Tina. We don't have room for Skipper.
Woo! Oh yeah, wait, was it Skipper or
Yeah.
Skippy?
Skipper!
Skipper?
Yeah, that's a little annoying sister. Oh, God. Okay.
Bye.
Their
Oh,
wedding
my God.
took place in February 1906 and was the social event of the season, of course. It was attended by more than 1,000 guests, with many thousands gathered outside hoping for a glimpse of the bride.
Wow.
She wore a blue wedding dress, amazing, and dramatically cut the wedding cake with a sword that she had borrowed from a military aide attending the reception.
Same.
She's fucking badass. Immediately after the wedding, the couple left for a honeymoon that included a voyage to Cuba and a visit to his family's house in Cincinnati. And this was followed by travels to England and the continent, which included having dinners with King Edward
Oh my God.
VII of the United Kingdom, Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, Georges Clemenceau, blah, 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 you know, all these fucking muggity. They bought a house at 2009 of Massachusetts Avenue Northwest in Washington, D.C. Alice publicly supported her father's Bull Moose presidential candidacy in the 1912 presidential election, while her husband stayed loyal to his mentor, President William Howard Taft, and was running for re-election for the Republican ticket. So,
well, I mean, I kind of like, though, that they can each have their own opinions, but that's probably going to crumble. Is something going to crumble? Yes.
Well, you know, it's not great. Yeah. So her husband, Nicholas, he was also running for re-election. He lost his seat. Yeah. But he was eventually re-elected in 1914, and then he stayed in the House for the rest of his life, of course, as we don't have term limits.
Oh, my God.
Alice's campaign against her husband, not against her husband, but against the candidate, it caused a permanent, like, chill in their marriage where they weren't really...
But, I mean, it's her dad.
I mean...
You know?
Yeah, but once you get married, aren't you the property of the husband?
He knows who he married.
Aren't you your husband's property?
He knows who he married. This is a little spitfire. She's not going to bow down to her husband. She's not going to yield.
But during their marriage, she carried on numerous affairs.
She did?
Yeah.
Good for her.
Get it, bitch. Get that dick! As reported in Carol Felsensthal's biography of Alice, and in Betty Boyd Caroli's The Roosevelt Women, as well as by Time journalist Rebecca Winters Keegan, it was generally accepted knowledge in D.C. that she had also had a long, ongoing affair with Senator William Borah, and the opening of Alice's diaries to historical researchers indicates that Borah was the father of her daughter, Paulina Longworth, born in 1925.
No! Wait, is Borah the guy she told to come in the pool with her?
No,
someone else.
Alice was renowned for her brilliantly malicious humor, even in this sensitive situation, since she had originally wanted to name her daughter Deborah, as in Deborah. Of Borah.
No! What?
Damn, bitch.
I love her even more. Yeah. Wait, is this guy hotter than the husband?
Oh, I don't know. I gotta look up. Damn it, I should have looked at a picture of this guy. And according to one family friend, everybody called Paulina Aurora Borah Alice.
And where's the husband in all this? Is he like, what the hell?
He's over in the house, pouting.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's fucked up though.
Wow. I mean, it's kind of mean. It's kind of mean.
So after the presidency, when it came for the Roosevelt family to move out of the White House, Alice buried a voodoo doll of the First Lady Nellie Taft in the front yard. Later, the Taft White House banned her from the former residency. The first but not the last administration to do so.
Wow.
To ban her. During Woodrow Wilson's administration, which also banned her in 1916 for a bawdy joke at Wilson's expense, Alice worked against the entry of the United States into the League of Nations. Like, she was fucking still involved.
She doesn't care.
No.
I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her power and privilege and all of that money that sort of let her do this, but hey.
I know. She published an autobiography called Crowded Hours. The book sold well and received rave reviews. Alice's wit could have political effects on friend and foe alike. When columnist and cousin Joseph Wright Alsop V claimed that there was grassroots support for Republican presidential candidate Wendell Willkie, the Republican hoped to defend FDR in 1940, she said yes, the grassroots of 10,000 country clubs.
Wow.
During the 1940 presidential campaign, she publicly claimed that she'd rather vote for Hitler than vote for Franklin for a third term, end quote.
Hey.
Yeah. Alice demolished Thomas Dewey, the 1944 opponent of her cousin Franklin, by comparing the pencil mustache Republican to, quote, the bridegroom on the wedding cake, end quote.
Jeez, like she just doesn't stop. She doesn't quit.
The image stuck, and Governor Dewey lost his 2 consecutive presidential elections.
Oh, man.
Alice's daughter, Paulina Longworth, married Alexander McCormick Strum, with whom she had a daughter, Joanna. And Alexander died in 1951, so like 6 years after the daughter, or 5 years after the daughter was born. Paulina herself died in 1957 from an overdose of sleeping pills.
Oh, no.
I know. Not very long before Paulina's death, she and Alice had discussed the care of Joanna in case she died, because the husband had died. And Alice fought for and won the custody of her granddaughter, whom she raised. Oh. In contrast to Alice's relationship with her daughter, she doted on her granddaughter, and the two of them were very close. In an article in American Heritage in 1969, Joanna was described as, quote, a highly attractive and intellectual 22-year-old and was called a notable contributor to Mrs. Longworth's youthfulness. Aww. The bonds between them are twin cables of devotion and a healthy respect for each other's tongue. Mrs. L says as a friend, and has been a wonderful father and mother to Joanna, mostly father.
I love this.
I know. So her interest in politics, obviously, she had most of her life. And when her advancing age and illness incapacitated her aunt Bammy, Alice stepped into her place as an unofficial political advisor to her father, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah,
you know, she married her. She warned her father against challenging the renomination of William Howard Taft in 1912. She took a hardline view of the Democrats in her youth and sympathized with the conservative wing of the Republican Party. She supported her half-brother Theodore Roosevelt Jr. when he ran for governor of New York in 1924. And when Franklin D. Roosevelt ran for president in 1932, Alice publicly opposed his candidacy.
Wow.
Yeah. Writing in the Ladies' Home Journal in October 1932, she said of FDR, politically, his branch of the family and ours have always been in different camps, and the same surname is about all we have in common. Wow. I am a Republican. I am going to vote for Hoover. If I were not a Republican, I would still not vote. I would still vote for Mr. Hoover this time.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Although Alice did not support John F. Kennedy in the 1960 election, she became very enamored of the Kennedy family and, quote, learned how amusing and attractive Democrats could be.
Oh, well, that's nice. We are amusing.
Yeah, and we're attractive.
Well, right. I mean, that's a given.
She develops an affectionate, although sometimes strained friendship with Bobby Kennedy, perhaps because of his relatively thin skin. When Alice privately made fun of his scaling the newly named Mount Kennedy in Canada, he was not amused. And none of these guys have a sense of humor, at all. She developed a genuine friendship with Richard Nixon when he was vice president. In 1957, he served as a pallbearer at Paulina's funeral, her daughter's funeral. When he returned to California after Dwight Eisenhower's second term and his loss in the 1960 presidential election, she kept in touch and did not consider his political career to be over.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, she encouraged him to re-enter politics.
Oh, thanks a lot, Alice.
To famous dinners.
Can't you just go to your fancy parties?
Nixon returned these favors by inviting her to his first formal White House dinner and to the 1971 wedding of his daughter, Tricia Nixon. Alice was a lifelong member of the Republican Party, but her political sympathies began to change when she became close to the Kennedy family and Lyndon Johnson. She voted Democratic in 1964 and was known to be supporting Bobby Kennedy in the 1968 Democratic primary. After Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1968, Alice again supported her friend Richard Nixon in his 68 and 72 elections, just as she had done against Kennedy, right? She was recorded in a telephone conversation with Nixon in the Nixon White House tapes, sharply criticizing the 1972 Democratic nominee of George McGovern. Her long friendship with Nixon ended at the conclusion of the Watergate scandal, specifically when Nixon quoted her father's diary at his resignation, saying, quote, only if you have been to the lowest valley can you know how great it is to be on the highest mountaintop, end quote. This infuriated Alice, who spat curse words at her television screen as she watched him compare his early departure from the White House to her idealistic young father's loss of his wife and mother on the same day of his illness. So he said that when he was quoted in the paper saying that when his wife and his mother died within those few days of each other.
No.
And Nixon used it when he was leaving office.
Oh, come on.
After he had committed crimes.
Yeah. So she's like, screw you.
Yeah.
You jerk.
Yeah. So Nixon said of her that she was the most interesting conversationalist of the age, and no one, no matter how famous, could ever outshine her. Wow. That's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So in 1955, she fell and suffered a broken hip, and in 1956, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And though she successfully underwent a mastectomy at the time, cancer was found in her other breast in 1970, and she required a second mastectomy. After many years of ill health, Alice died in her Embassy Row house on February 20th, 1980, 8 days after her 96th birthday.
Wow.
She is buried in Rock Creek Cemetery in Washington, D.C., and she was the longest living child of a U.S. president.
Wow.
It's incredible, right? A couple of quotes that just to end it. When a well-known Washington senator was discovered to have been having an affair with a young woman less than half his age, she quipped, quote, "You can't make a souffle rise twice." And,
oh!
She said in a 60
Wow, she is sharp. I just love it.
She said in a 60 Minutes interview with Eric Severeid, televised on February 17th, 1974, that she was a hedonist, which I thought was very interesting. Of her quotable comments, Alice's most famous found its way onto, into the lexicon basically of our time. It's, quote, "If you can't say something good about someone, sit right here next to me."
Ooh, that's
quote.
like my favorite. It's from Steel Magnolias uses that.
Yeah. That's one of her famous
I
quotes.
love
Me too.
that.
Because you could see her at those parties, like living her fucking best life, right?
Come sit here and let's talk.
Yeah, so good.
Woo!
That's Alice Roosevelt Longworth.
I love that.
Me too.
So
Buck the
good.
system constantly.
Yes.
Always buck the system. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I love it.
All right. Well, you're going on vacay.
Yay! So excited.
So exciting.
I will let you know how it goes.
Yes,
and I get to see
can't wait.
Gabriella, which I'm so excited about.
Gabriella. I miss Gabriella.
Me too.
She is such a good person.
Damn it.
Oh,
She got out too. I'm always so jealous people get out of Florida.
yes. And she loves it. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing. She loves it.
Yeah.
It's cold, but she still loves it.
Yeah. It's incredible. Well, I guess that's it.
That's it.
All right. Don't forget to check out Lauren Book this Friday.
Yes. Lauren Book.
Love it. All right. That's it. Bye.
Bye.